Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. I know we are slightly late, but then that was the atmosphere here after RCB had qualified into the playoffs. All thanks to their Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians had a ball of a game today against Delhi Capitals. They put Delhi on to bat. Delhi just managed to score 159, which looked like a very good score on the pitch, which was sticking quite a bit. But in response, it was Delhi Capitals' few mistakes which has cost them the game big time. And Tim David, oh boy, what a player he has become for Mumbai Indians. His ability to finish games has become so crucial for the Mumbai Indians, and he is a player to watch out for. And alongside him, Ishan Kishan also got off to a very good start. But all in all, Delhi Capitals will be kicking themselves at the end of the day because they have the game in their grasp, but then they let it go. But not just with the ball, also with the bat, I felt. Sandipani, what did you make of the game? Let's summarize it, yeah?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say that all my predictions came true. Like we sort of had a poll of sorts when you asked me that what would be the standing at the end. I predicted that Rajasthan Royals will overtake Lucknow Super Giants to end at number two, and RCB will take the last spot. This was there was a lot of permutations and combinations. Not a lot actually. Delhi Capitals had to lose, and RCB had to win, and that is exactly what happened. So RCB would be very delighted with Mumbai's win today, a win which almost seemed unlikely till that Tim David flurry. I have to say that 159 in this pitch, Mumbai Indians made it look like a massive total. I felt it was par or say 5 runs or 10 runs probably short. Otherwise, I felt the bowling and some of the decisions again. Rishabh Pant will be kicking himself for not taking that DRS. But all in all, this game sort of sums up Delhi Capitals' season. Like they have had their chances, they have had ample opportunities, but they were not able to completely grasp it, and hence the
Yeah.
result and outcome. I think all in all they'll be happy with the fifth position. If you had asked me right at the start with the team that Delhi Capitals had, they probably have one of the most threatening batting lineup
Right.
this season. But again, the bowling has let them down throughout this season. There has been some surprising performers for them, like Kuldeep Yadav and Khalil. I mean, if you ask me at the start of the season, these were the two bowlers that they would have thought that they were sort of a iffy pick, which will be used as something like a fourth bowling and fifth bowling option, given the form that Khalil and Kuldeep were coming into this tournament. But both of them have really turned it around for their career as well throughout the course of this season. I mean, Kuldeep Yadav was brilliant. He sort of we sort of saw a new Kuldeep Yadav who was sort of not. He was always never afraid of pitching the ball up, but we saw that he has learned to sort of vary his pace, bowl a bit quicker through the air, and the flight that he give, like the flight that Kuldeep Yadav has always troubled batsmen, and we again saw this time around that a lot of batsmen were not able to pick him and judge the flight. So and same with Khalil. I think Khalil he used the slower ball change of pace really well, and earlier in the upfront uh, in the power play he was very effective with the just short of a length delivery into the body, giving the right handers no room to play with. So yeah, all in all, a very good tournament for Delhi Capitals. Their batting shined. We always expected this sort of a performance from somebody like a Mitchell Marsh, even though he scored a duck today. But again, Bumrah in the first innings of a game is absolutely lethal. And again, he proved us why 3 wickets early on. And it just goes to show that if you have proper support from the other end, you can perform effectively. I think another find that Mumbai Indians will be really happy going forward in this tournament is somebody like Ramandeep Singh. We saw
Right.
in the first couple of games, Ramandeep Singh was tried only as a batter coming in at number three or number four. He was not able to sort of justify his position over there. So they sort of gave him the role of a finisher with the bat, and with the ball. He has been doing a very good, decent job as well. Picking up wickets when needed. So I think he picked up 5 wickets in the last 2 games. So all in all, these are some of the positives that Mumbai Indians will take, along with somebody like Daniel Sams and Riley Meredith's performance.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tammy from UK. It's It's a great words from you, and that these are the words which keeps us going as well. But of course, let's speak about Mumbai Indians, the bowling today, right? Because we've been, howling
Yeah.
since the first game that Jasprit Bumrah should be opening the bowling, not just opening the bowling. At least he should have 2 overs in the power play. Today he was given 2 overs in the power play, and he delivered for Mumbai Indians. It wasn't the most important game for them, but of course, that impact what Jasprit Bumrah creates up front with the ball, just able to nibble it here and there. That's why we know him. Even in Test cricket, he opens the bowling for India. So there shouldn't have been any doubts that why isn't Jasprit Bumrah not bowling in the power play, right? But today he came to ball in the power play. He picked up those 2 crucial wickets. Let's remember that because Mitchell Marsh has been their go-to man throughout this tournament. Prithvi Shaw, he was looking really good as well. That ball was just
Yeah.
really, really good. Prithvi Shaw was had taken aback with that bouncer. So
Yeah.
yeah, what do you make of those decisions? Because now, if you look in hindsight, these are few areas where Mumbai Indians would look back and say, "Oh my God, couple of decisions here and there, 3 more wins, 4 more wins in the kitty, we would have been challenging for the playoff spot as well, isn't it?"
I think some of the players that have impacted Mumbai Indians' performances this season greatly is probably somebody like a young Tilak Verma coming in, having that 400, so just short of a 400 season,
Right.
and definitely somebody like Ramandeep Singh coming in the latter stages, picking up, showing his worth with the ball. Some mystery spin from Kartikeya was great as well. Shaukin did a pretty decent job. In the games, in the opportunities that he got, and all in all, it has Mumbai Indians have looked a different team in the last 6 games. They have won 4 of their last 6 matches, and it just goes to show that probably they missed a trick. Dropping Tim David was a huge blunder, according to me, after the first 2 games, that they decided to drop somebody like a Tim David. And I think that their batting combination, the batting order, they did not have it figured, because Surya Kumar Yadav was playing, was in some great form along with Tilang Verma, and they were sort of giving the Devil Brevis the go ahead at number 3, and somebody like Ishan Kishan was not at his best, and even Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma has struggled throughout this tournament. There was just 2 or 3 innings where he got into the 40s. Other than
Yeah.
that, he was not even able to like get past 30, I guess. So it's not at all been a good season for Rohit Sharma. And on hindsight, this has been probably the fourth or fifth season in IPL where Rohit Sharma has not come good for Mumbai Indians with the bat.
I mean, this is the
So
first ever time in an IPL season he's gone without scoring a 50. Uh,
yeah,
that was
but
something
but
that's
this is just the pinnacle of his like low runs. He has not managed a 50 for the first time this season. But if you consider his previous performances as well, his performance in 2021, 2020, 2019, I think he has not scored massively in those seasons as well. He had par seasons according to Rohit Sharma standards, probably even
right.
below par performances. Something like 350, 300, 350 in 14 innings is say what, averaged around 25. I think Rohit Sharma is a far better player than that.
Right. We've been talking a lot about Mumbai, but let's shift focus to that team which was knocked out today. Yeah, and Sayani, we are sorry, but we were doing a Twitter space last night. So we forgot to update on YouTube that we wouldn't be coming live. That was just on commitments as we would be doing Twitter space, and we got a good turn up there as well. Many of you people joined. We had close to 1,000 watching yesterday on the Twitter space. So do watch us on Twitter space. Follow us on Twitter right now so that you get updates when we go on Twitter Space live with Jones and Sandipani and more others as well. Yesterday we had a lot of people from Quick Info and a lot of other websites joining us to share their thoughts. So yeah, just follow us on Twitter right now so that you don't miss out on any of the action what we provide. The link is in the bio. Yeah, talking about Delhi Capitals, let's talk about them. This is not the first time we have seen Delhi Capitals miss out on a clutch game, right? On a clutch game when they should be delivering, they absolutely choke. I want to use that word because they deserve it
Yeah,
at this very point. Because we've seen in 2012 they made it to the playoffs by winning close to how many games did they win that season? I think they had won close to
10
10
or
games that
11.
season, 10 to
Yeah,
11 games
yes,
that season. 2020 was another clear example. They had a very good season. They went on to the final. That was still arguably one of the better runs in the playoffs. 2019 they messed
yeah.
it up in the playoffs. They have just had 2 wins in the playoffs ever. If you look at the last how many ever times they play the knockouts. So
Yeah.
if you tell me right now, would you just say that they tend to crumble under pressure? Because even today was just like a knockout game, right? Today was
Yeah.
as important as an eliminator for them, and they just crumbled under pressure. Yes, last year you could say one of the decisions that baffled me was when Rishabh Pant turned to Tom Curran instead of Rabada and to ball to Dhoni the
Yeah.
last over, and Dhoni took him to cleaners. This time around, not taking the review when there was a clear noise, dropping those chances out there. Rishabh Pant dropped a sitter. I mean, with the keeping gloves, you drop such things. These are the things where your coach says run 3 rounds around the park. माफ नहीं करेगा मैं इसके लिए. Ricky Ponting would
Yeah.
have made him do that if Ricky Ponting would have got one more chance, but then it was just bad from Delhi Capitals. Overall, I would
But
say it
if
was
you talk
poor,
about
poor.
yeah, but if you talk about the lineup, Delhi Capitals lineup, you don't expect them to choke. You have somebody like a Rishabh Pant, Mitchell Marsh, David Warner, all of whom are extremely good under pressure. I
Exactly
mean,
my point.
yeah.
Exactly
So,
my
and
point.
also if you talk about the management, they have somebody like Ricky Ponting at the helm of the Ricky Ponting,
Exactly.
Shane Watson. Again, somebody who never chokes under pressure. So it's very
Exactly.
uncharacteristic for Delhi Capitals to play this way. I probably felt that this time around they were going to do better in this clutch situations because they
For
had the
me,
players.
I would say Rishabh Pant is one of the most clutch players in our country.
Yeah,
I'm just going to
definitely.
put our country because I've seen Rishabh Pant walking in under pressure. Let it be that Gabba Test match. Let it be the match where he played against Pakistan. Let it be the World Cup semi-final where he walked in for 5 for 3. He always tends to deliver in some way or the other. He's a clutch player. Even today with the bat, he just looked like company. Last year also I saw that. Do you reckon somewhere now the captaincy or something is getting onto him because he's looking for options out there? He's running out of ideas. He doesn't know what to do because I just saw that catch drop and I felt like, oh my god, this was it. This is not going well for them at all. And that review was just to top it up all. That review any day anybody would have taken. And after that, taking a review just to compensate that when the ball had pitched way outside the leg stump, it just showed that his presence was somewhere else. His mind was really, really crumbling under pressure. And as you mentioned about Ricky Ponting, Shane Watson, David Warner, Mitchell Marsh, these all are serial winners. They won multiple World Cups for Australia. Let it be Australian T20 World Cup, which was recently won by Mitchell Marsh and David Warner. Ricky Ponting, we know all about him. He has won 2 World Cups for Australia. He has delivered always under pressure. Shane Watson is another player in IPL or in the World Cups. He's always delivered under pressure. You reckon this is something to do with the franchise? Because you always talk about a winning factor, right? We speak on Mumbai and Chennai Super Kings. You give them that sniff, and they absolutely pounce on it, and they don't let it go because they have the heritage of winning. They have the mentality where they say, previously we have done it, let's do it again. But for this team, or let it be for RCB, let it be for many, many other franchises who have not been there, they feel like we've not done it previously. Can we do it? Is that the difference over here?
See, first of all, talking about Rishabh Pant's captaincy, I have been critical of his captaincy in the last 3 or 4 games, and I would like to continue. Like I actually in the preview as well, I said that Rishabh Pant has to be at his best if sort of Delhi has to win this one, and we saw
Right.
that he has been making some questionable decisions, especially even with needed of the last over. You would always sort of say that it was over, but again, going with somebody like a Khalil Ahmed, who had sort of gone for 17 runs in his last over that he bowled to somebody like a Tim David, and you
So
have
who else
somebody
could
like
he
a
have gone
Shardul.
with at that point?
Yeah,
Who else could he have gone with at that point?
yeah,
Because
I
Khalil
think
was
Shardul
not
Thakur
good.
was a better option because he had backed somebody like a Shardul Thakur in the death overs against Punjab Kings, and again in this game as well, he Shardul Thakur bowled that 18 over. He got Tim David out, even though he conceded 2 sixes. But again, Khalil Ahmed also like gave away a lot of runs against David. So I think with 2 wickets and with some of the lower order in the band, lower order batsmen, say lower middle order batsmen playing, I think they should have backed Shardul Thakur, and I think that is his job in the team to come in and bowl at the death.
Right.
We have seen him do it for Chennai Super Kings, and he has done it for Chennai Super Kings on a lot of occasions, and even for Delhi Capitals, I think he did not get the proper backing. Again, we saw another of the spinners not getting to bowl out his quota of 4 overs. Akshar Patel bowled only 3 overs. I think he was going well, considering 26 runs. And I think the way Khalil Ahmed started in the first 2 overs, considering just the 2 runs. I think he could have gotten. He should have like Pant should have continued with him for another over at least in the power play. So I feel some of the decisions over there, we can obviously at the end of the day we can always come here and be critical about his captaincy. But again, I would say this, that out of the 10 teams, I think captaincy wise, I think Pant has sort of experimented a lot more and made quite a few questionable choices. But talking about Delhi Capitals' poor form in the knockouts, I firmly believe that this has got nothing to do with the franchise. I mean, yeah, this was just a bad game, because this time around, if you had told me that they are chokers in crunch situations in the last one, I would have still believed that somebody like say Kagiso Rabada belonging to South Africa, and Enric Nortje, their main pacer tank belonging to South Africa, you could have labeled them with this tag. But with Ricky Ponting in the like main head coach is Ricky Ponting, their assistant coach is Shane Watson. They have world class players like Mitchell Marsh, David Warner, Rishabh Pant, who are extremely absolutely brilliant players in pressure situations. And I think it's just got to do with, it was just not meant to be their day. And I think that review actually caused them very heavily, because Tim David went on to score 34 of 11 balls. And again, just to show what impact Tim David can cause in a game, he is their X factor player for Mumbai Indians. He has been their X factor players for the last 3-4 games. He was just unable to perform in 2 games. I think he did not do too poorly in the first game against Delhi Capitals itself, but in the second game, I think that was the only failure from Tim David in the organization, because that
Yeah.
cost them heavily. Because we have seen that out of the first 8 games that Mumbai Indians lost consecutively, there were 3 or 4 games that they lost chasing, and they lost chasing around 70-75 runs in the last 7 overs. So something that you don't expect from Delhi Capitals, sorry, Mumbai Indians, and something that you don't expect from any team for that matter, not to finish games needing 10 runs per over at the back end with wickets in hand. This was something uncharacteristic we saw from Mumbai Indians, and I would totally blame it on not on their team management, basically not picking the right players. They took a lot of time finding their top 11.
Right, right. Absolutely. I mean, we got comments here. Yeah, we got a comment by Shruti Sriram here. Yeah, you guys are on point. Yeah, correct. Thank you for that. It means a lot as well. So yeah, you've been talking about Delhi Capitals, the team. Now, what would they feel they've done wrong this season? Because this is it for them. They're not going any further in the tournament. It is a full stop for them. They all had an hope that today, if they turn it around, fortunes could turn for them. Like possibly they would have loved to, but it did not. It was in their hand. It was not like RCB. They were relying it upon Mumbai Indians. It was in their hand. The fortune, the destiny, everything was in their hands, but then they just couldn't. You reckon the COVID issue, bowling not clicking in many games, and batting, for example, where was all one dimensional. Are these one of those some of the reasons what they'll try to pick out at the end of the season when they look back at it and review it?
I think that pretty much sums it up. COVID issue. Prithvi Shaw having that typhoid and like not playing in the 5-6 games in between. Also, Delhi Capitals really lacked one proper Indian batsman coming in at number 5, number 6. They sort of went with Lalit Yadav in a couple of games. There was Sarfaraz Khan coming in and coming out. There was Mandip Singh tried in 2 or 3 of those games. So they even Ripul Patel got 1 or 2 games. I think they have tried everything over there. That one slot, that probably number 6 or number 4 spot. If you talk about before Mitchell Marsh came in at number 3, there was that number 3 slot that was lacking, because
Yeah.
nobody was being able to fill it up properly. And also their bowling has been a concern. If you talk about the bowling options that they had plenty of options. They had somebody like a Mitchell Marsh and Shardul Thakur as their 6th and 7th bowler, because Shardul Thakur was not at all utilized by Delhi Capitals in the early stages. Like he went for a few in the first 2 or 3 games, and then Rishabh Pant suddenly lost faith in him. So he had plenty of bowlers bowling those 3 overs, 2 overs, because they had too many bowling options. bowling options, and probably that bowler they lacked. Andrik Nortje's injury up front did not help them with that death over bowling. We saw in the last few seasons that Rabada and Nortje at the death for them had been absolutely phenomenal, not giving away runs and picking up so many wickets at the back end. This time around, they had somebody like a Khalil Ahmed, and Shardul Thakur and Andrik Nortje not at his
Yeah.
100% best. I think Chetan Sakaria in whatever games he got was brilliant for them. Again, the issue with Delhi Capitals, a choice of plenty. Like he had to sit out whenever Khalil Ahmed was fit. I think he did nothing wrong. Whenever Chetan Sakaria got opportunities, he bowled brilliantly. And somebody like a Shardul Thakur who was brought for the big money, disappointed. According to me, Shardul Thakur with 10.5, 11 crores did not perform up to expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
had one
I thought that
cameo.
was one of the reasons as well. Shardul Thakur, they expected him to just come like how he performed in
Yeah.
Chennai Super Kings, but he just couldn't deliver for them, right? I thought
Yeah,
they would use
exactly.
him
And
more than
we
the
had
bat
some
as well.
unexpected performers. Somebody like a Khalil Ahmed and Kuldeep Yadav. They were unexpected performers for Delhi
For me,
Capitals.
another player I would like to pick out is Lalit Yadav. That position of number five, right? Delhi have experimented throughout this IPL. They were so unsure as to who will be their number five. Even in this game, they played Sarfraz Khan at number five. He was opening
Yeah.
the batting for you in another game. Today you're playing him at number five. There is no role clarity at all. That's what I feel. Players feel insecure as well. Right? Lalit Yadav did not perform well. You gave him a long row, and he did not turn up either with the ball or neither with the bat. So that's where you put a full stop on him and say, okay, we're looking at someone beyond Lalit Yadav. Maybe they could have gone to possibly a Ripple, but he also didn't get a long rope. He got a couple of games, then he got dropped. Then you brought back Lalit Yadav. Then you brought in Safraz Khan for a couple of games. Then you pushed him up the order. And now you brought him back. So there was total chaos out there when it came to that number five position. And I thought number five is going to be one of the crucial positions for them as well. If you look over the years with Delhi Capitals, number five has always been played by a crucial player. Maybe Marcus Jones, maybe Rishabh Pant in 2018, 2019. These positions so important T20 cricket also, but then they were unable to find a finisher. Ravman Powell, yes, he did come good for them towards the end, but he wasn't convincing at all. He couldn't deliver like they expected him to. And for me, one of the biggest reasons has to be Rishabh Pant. You have to accept as well, because though he had a very good season statistically, if you speak, it was an ordinary season, but he did not have those breakthrough season where he went out there, scored those 80 runs, 75 runs, taking Delhi home more often than not. Even today, he had the opportunity to bat out and he could have possibly won them. That shot was totally not needed even today, isn't it? The Ramandeep's ball, which was way
See, I,
outside the
I think Rishabh Pant will be kicking himself for not coming in at the right situations with the bat as well, because Rishabh Pant is the captain of that franchise. He's the captain of the team. He should take charge. He should know when to come into bat, when should he bat at number 4, number 5, how many balls does he need to come into the game. I think today again his innings was very important. He played a good game, but Delhi Capitals expect a lot more from him because he has been performing exceedingly well with the bat. This time around, this season also, he averaged something around close to 30, which is very good considering he bats at number 4. But again, we have to, when you talk about Rishabh Pant, you have to talk about some of the choices that he makes with the bat, some of the shots that he tries to play. Again, I feel that he sort of in some of the games he came in way too late to bat, coming in at in the 11th or 12th over, and sort of pressurizing himself to just go on attack right from ball one. I think today he had plenty more opportunities, and that is where Rishabh Pant is. I know today it did not come off for him the moment he wanted it to come off. Like at the end, he would have wanted some sort of acceleration that he usually provides. But this was sort of an innings which we wanted Rishabh Pant to play more often, rather than coming in the 12th, 13th over and going for it from ball one. I think Rishabh Pant plays a lot better when he sort of takes in some 7, 10 balls to settle himself down and then target particular bowlers, not go at every bowler. You are going to make sort of mistime one delivery or going to make mistakes if you try to take after it, like go after every bowler. That's
Yeah,
the
I
point I
think
feel.
there's a message as your video is breaking. How about you rejoin in a minute? I think there's a issue with your video as well. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'll take the question on what should Aksar be tossing the ball up. Well, it's a good question because Aksar Patel, if you know his strength, has been bowling those flatter trajectory balls, isn't it? He's a little bit of a defensive bowler. He keeps things tight, but then he picks up a wicket here or two. And today, I thought the pitch was tailor made for him. I thought he would be the toughest ball to play on the surface. But when Ishan Kishan started going after him, that's where I felt Akshar Patel lost his plot and he was trying to be even more shorter with his length. And even with Rishabh Pant, I was a little baffled that he was telling Akshar Patel to keep it much shorter than what he was doing already. And that was not a good sign because on that wicket, I thought you should be mixing your lengths up more than what you should be keeping it way too short. I thought Akshar Patel, yeah, we all know that he is a ball who keeps it stump to stump, doesn't give any width, and that's been his strength. You cannot say a bowler who has done it, but Akshar Patel in the last couple of years, I've noticed one thing about Akshar Patel is that he's trying to change his pace a lot more. But today that was not the case. He once Ishan Kishan went after him, even Devil Bruce here and there. He was out of possibly answers, and he was going back to his old strength of just flattering the trajectory of the ball, balling it even more shorter, and maybe that's why he went for a lot more runs than expected. But I was impressed with Kuldeep Yadav, though he went for that huge over. He came back pretty strong. He was tossing the ball up again and again. This was that kind of pitch. If you give the ball a little more air, the ball was doing its own from the pitch. You saw it when Ritik Shawkin ball. You saw it when Mayank Markande balled as well. When they were slowing it down, the pitch was doing really well, but not too full, but just in that length. The pitch had enough in offer. But Akshar Patel, that's why it was a disappointment, and Kuldeep Yadav was a really good revelation for them, and not just today, but throughout the season as well. But let's
Yeah,
now
just
look
to
at the
add on
bowling
your
team.
point, this is one of the reasons why I have been critical about Rishabh Pant's captaincy, because that is the thing with Kuldeep Yadav. We have often seen that he has not bowled well in the first 2 3 overs. Even if you consider the ODIs, he has not sort of not had his day in the first 7 8 overs. But he'll come in the
Right,
ninth over, he'll get one wicket, he'll get into rhythm and pick up a hat trick. That's been the case with him, Kuldeep Yadav, throughout his career, and that is
right,
why I feel that if there is something for the bowlers in the pitch, you should back Kuldeep Yadav to bowl his quota of 4 overs, and especially
right,
because he has been picking up wickets for you this season. He has been confident, even though he has been hit for a few runs. The thing with Kuldeep Yadav is for KKR, whenever he used to go for runs, he used to try to bowl a defensive line, sort of bowl flatter at you. But this time around, we have seen that he has tossed the ball up. He has been fearless. He knows that the management is backing him, and he has been getting rewards for it as well. Whoever has tried to take Kuldeep Yadav on has been sort of dismissed. Somebody like a Liam Livingston, Andrew Russell, they have all been dismissed by Kuldeep Yadav because he has been uh, tossing the ball up, defeating the batsman in the flight itself. So I think that is another reason where I think some of the games would have gone may have gone the other way around if Kuldeep Yadav would have bowled his quota of 4 overs. Again,
right.
something Pant should have considered.
Right. Let's bring that table up. Yes, we see the green spots for the four teams there. It is Royal Challengers Bangalore who have qualified, as we mentioned at the start of the live. Today was all about Royal Challengers Bangalore. Man, I mean, I've not seen a day where Mumbai Indians was playing and the chants in Wankhede was RCB, RCB, and I was also chanting. Man, not gonna lie, I was rooting for Mumbai Indians. I had my heart in my mouth when Ishan Kishan got out, but then I knew. But Rishabh Pant, and I'll thank him. I'll just send him a thank you letter somewhere. But just look at it. Look at the table. Uh, as Sandipani already predicted last week, this will be the four teams, and this are the four teams, and this were the four teams also for predominantly throughout the course of the tournament who were in the top four. There was no any team coming and breaking through. We expected it to happen. We expected the last minute twist, but no, it went not to be this time. It was only RCB, Lucknow Super Giants. Lucknow Super Giants, I believe, lost the plot in slightly. Rajasthan Royals had a terrific tournament so far. Gujarat Titans also has had a terrific tournament. So we are going to have Gujarat Titans with the Rajasthan Royals, which will be played on 24th, which Sandeep will be definitely watching. And Lucknow Super Giants versus RCB, which Sandeep will again be definitely watching. We will both play in Kolkata, and Sandeep will be covering us from the ground. So that's going to be something exciting for you all. Yeah. What do you make of this lineup, Sandipani, and which team will be slightly happy now?
I think Rajasthan Royals will be absolutely elated because they had their last game against Chennai Super Kings, who were completely in out of sorts. They did not have the form going for them coming into the final game, and obviously Rajasthan Royals crushed them, like got the better of them, and not exactly crushed them, but it was a fairly comfortable win. Uh, Again, I think RCB would also be relieved. I think relieved will be the word for RCB because having started the season,
Man, I'm
having
not gonna
started the
lie.
season on a high.
If your
Yeah,
Twitter page, if your team captain, if your team is sitting entirely to watch the match, putting tweets after tweets from Mumbai Indians, you know that you're gonna be so relieved. And I
yeah,
was not surprised because some of the images, today was a day
yeah.
I would love to be on Twitter because some of the messages by Maxwell, Dinesh Karthik posting his jersey with Mumbai Indians, Maxwell posting his jersey with Mumbai Indians, and some of the edits, one of the memes which we had put out on Boomer as well about how RCB fans would be feeling at that point. I mean, it was just classic, man. It was one of those days.
And Dinesh Karthik and Maxwell had clearly hit their Delhi Capitals jersey as well. I think both were part of Delhi Capitals at
Yes,
some point of time.
yes. So it was tough. They would rather claim saying that we are part of Delhi Daredevils and not Capitals. Mumbai Indians have remained the same, so that will be. I'll give it to
Yeah.
them for that. That their case will be won on that basis. But nonetheless,
And at the end, it turned out that 16 points without any like competition was the sort of qualifying criteria because
we
RCB
called
had
it,
the
right?
most
We called
horrible
it.
net run rate.
We called it 16 points will be the cutoff.
Yeah.
As always, 16 point becomes a cutoff. When it's 10 teams, 16 points should be the cutoff. And I was not surprised. I mean, this could have been 16-point tie, and maybe Delhi Capitals would have gone through as well. But that's when you will certainly need 18, but 16 points is definitely a safe zone, and that's where RCB would feel they were lucky. But RCB also really kicking themselves because they lost a couple of important matches after they got off to a flying start. But let's talk about some of the teams, like because we'll be doing a whole show on this in a couple of
Yeah.
days' time. Day after tomorrow, we'll be doing a whole show on the
But if
review
you
of the
talk about
entire
the
group.
teams in the playoffs, all the teams that are in the playoffs, I will be very scared right now if I am sitting in the Gujarat Titans dugout, not in the Lucknow dugout, not in the Rajasthan
Okay,
dugout,
I
not.
have two questions for you. Just putting on that,
Yeah.
will a team from eliminator have the momentum to go to that final, or because it's only happened twice, right? So they happened in 2010 when third place team went on to win the IPL. That was Chennai Super Kings, but back then there was no playoff strategy, and you never had a thing where one team will play eliminators and go to qualify to then the final. Then 2016 was when Sunrisers Hyderabad won the eliminator, went on to win the championship.
But
Last
that
year was
was
for
just
Kolkata to
Warner
win the.
against all the teams. In 2016, it was just Warner versus teams.
It was Warner versus
Uh,
Kohli, you can say.
yeah.
It was both of them having such a magnanimous season,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. No, no, but I'm
last year,
talking about in the playoffs. Warner single-handedly took Sunrisers Hyderabad to that trophy. I think
yeah,
there was
absolutely,
no competition. Rashid Khan
absolutely.
played in one of the games. Otherwise, yeah. But if you ask me that the teams that are coming right from the eliminator, they have the momentum going into the. You mentioned that there are only two instances where they won the trophy, but there have been plenty of instances where they have reached the finals. So the
Mm.
team coming off from the eliminator usually tends to beat the team in qualifier two. Like whichever team loses in qualifier one ends
But
up losing in qualifier two as well.
But you know what? I've also noticed this trend over the years. Qualified two team gets that extra chance. They call it the extra bite at the cherry. I don't know. I've never
Yeah,
bitten a cherry twice. I only bite it one bite. But let me go with that phrase. Two bites at the cherry is what they call it because even if you lose that
that
qualifier
is
one, you
simply
have
an
another chance.
advantage. If you are getting one extra game, you have the
Extra game,
luxury of
exactly.
losing one.
So you don't mind losing, even if you have that slip up, it's okay. You will have another chance to go to the final. But for the eliminators, you don't have it. You slip up, you slip up. And RCB, the last two seasons, they've been bottling it in the eliminator. Let it be against Sunrisers Hyderabad, and last year was against Kolkata Knight Riders at Sharjah. Uh, you reckon a team going from eliminator will have that extra bit of advantage? Number one. Number two, let's talk about the qualifier one, right? Rajasthan versus GT. You reckon Rajasthan will be the team who will be high on momentum at this point?
Definitely. I mean, Rajasthan will be the team high on momentum, and I feel out of the four teams, I think Gujarat Titans will be the team with the least momentum because they have, even though they have won a few games, they won one game against Chennai Super Kings, where the batsmen like CSK batsmen really did not manage to do something great. But otherwise, other than that, they have lost some of the games very convincingly, and you have to, like, you can say that they have rested quite a few players, but having said that, they have also played with most of their players, like most of the key players were there in the team, and somebody like a Shubman Gill has come good only in 3 or 4 games out of the 14.
Right.
And that batting is starting to really be a concern for them. Hardik Pandya started off brilliantly, had a good game in the last one, but in between, I think Hardik Pandya even also struggled. Whenever, especially whenever in the middle overs, if you sort of employ good pacer against Hardik Pandya, he has struggled to get going. And I feel this is going to trouble them because their bowling is the stronger suit between the two, between batting and bowling. But we have also seen that their bowlers have struggled, barring somebody like a Rashid Khan and Mohammad Shami, who have had tremendous seasons. Rashid Khan has also had a very good season with both bat and ball. But other than that, I think somebody like a Lockie Ferguson, Joseph, and Yes Dayal, they have sort of been slightly disappointing. Sai Kishore coming in the last 3 games has been spectacular for them, averaging less than 20, picking up like conceding less than 6 runs per over. Economy rate is less than 6, I guess. So he has been a good addition to the side. But all in all, if you talk about momentum wise, their batting depth looks a concern for me when compared to the other 3 teams, because Lucknow Super Giants has a very balanced team all in all. uh, Even Royal Challengers Bangalore, they sort of slipped up a bit right at the end, but barring that, they had a pretty good season. And RCB always sort of starts off with flying colors, and they sort of diminish, like their form sort of fades away as the tournament progresses. And
Right.
somebody like a Rajasthan Royals will be very high on confidence because they have been winning games when Josh Butler has been failing for them. In the last 2 games, Josh Butler did not like do perform as expected from somebody like a Butler, from the orange cap
Yeah.
holder. And somebody like a Chahal has not picked up like plenty of wickets in the last 4 or 5 games, but still they have managed to win. And that will like just give them so much confidence. And I think they will be the sort of the favorites coming into the qualifier one, even though Gujarat
But you
Titans.
reckon at this very point, even Lucknow Super Giants will be slightly feeling the pressure because you would say they won against Kolkata Knight Riders, but not in the most convincing way. This would have that could have been Kolkata Knight Riders game, and 2 games previous to that they were on a losing trot as well. The batting is still an issue, though they had that magnificent knock of 210 for no loss, but still, you would feel that the batting is a concern for them, and also their bowling. It's going for a lot of runs because Ravi Bishnoi has been has been unable to find his feet actually after the start of the tournament. He had a brilliant start of the tournament, then somewhere he slipped up, and that's one of the major reasons why Lucknow was unable to pick up wickets in the middle overs as well. At this point, even Royal Challengers Bangalore will be feeling there's a fairy tale they want to script at this very point, right? Some of the lucks in the last few days, it's been all going well for them. They want to use it in the eliminator, qualify too, and also hopefully in the final as well. So they would believe at this very point, these 4 teams, they're all having different ways of believing that they can do it.
The big boost for them will be Kohli coming back to form. Not even if he comes back to form per se, but he scored a brilliant 70 odd runs in the last game. So that will be, he'll be very high on confidence, and we
And,
saw a
and,
different sort of
and
Kohli.
mind you, it'll be in Kolkata. The pitches will be good, flat,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be,
And definitely this will be the first game in Kolkata, like the second game in Kolkata. But I think they'll use a different pitch for like both the games. So fresh pitch, I expect a lot of runs, short boundaries. But again, having said that, Lucknow Super Giants will be worried. But I think Bishnoi did a fair amount, like fair job in this tournament. I think somebody like Jason Holder has not had the best of tournaments. Even though he has picked up wickets in some of the games, but he has gone for way too many runs. So his economy rate will be a cause of concern, because Mohsin Khan and Avesh Khan, barring the last game, has been absolutely brilliant for them throughout this tournament. And
yeah.
Avesh Khan, even in IPL, even for Delhi Capitals, he was brilliant
It
as
was
well.
very interesting to see how these ballers adapt as well because Mumbai was a different ground, different
Yeah,
conditions. Because with the moisture around, the ball was doing a lot for the seamers. But in Kolkata, also you expect the ball to do slightly for the seamers up front. But then
but
if
I
you look
think
at the
we'll have
recent past,
pitches similar to Wankhede. We'll have pitches
yeah,
similar to
yeah,
Wankhede.
but with Kolkata in the recent past, we've seen that the pitches are very flat, and it helps batters who get set. You can play on the up boundaries. It's lightning quick outfield in Eden Gardens with those practice
Yeah.
pitches out there in the boundary. It just skids away, man. I mean, if you just played, if you cross the 30-yard circle, it's like 100% four. There is no chance anybody's going to stop it, and that's what Kolkata is going to be. I believe it's going to be run fest in both the games. The
Yeah.
team who's going to
So
bat the
I
best
think
will go for it.
the bowlers are going to be the differentiator in both the games, because if you talk about Lucknow Super Giants, their batting has been just the top three. Some KL Rahul, Quinton de Kock, and Deepak Huda has done bulk of the scoring. I think 80% to 85% of the runs have been scored by these three. And to counter, sort of to strengthen the middle order in the last game, we saw the addition of somebody like an Evan Lewis. Marcus Stoinis was always there, and we saw some specialist batsmen coming in. Ayush Badoni missing the last one, so it just shows that they are not confident with the 11, especially the batting unit. They don't know whom to play. I think Krunal Pandya was rested in the last one. He is definitely going to come back in the eliminator. But apart from that, I think it's going to be interesting
I
to see
don't
how.
think spinners will play a part at all in the qualifiers or in the eliminator, because the fresh pitches are not going to aid spinners at all at this point of the stage. And
But
Kolkata,
again, I will place my bet on the sort of the unorthodox, sort of orthodox spinners, like who does not spin the ball too much, sort of just goes hands on, like bowls a lot of arm balls. Somebody like a Krunal Pandya bowls wicket to wicket, does not give the batsman room. So I think he'll be effective. Some bowlers, like, I don't think Ravi Bishnoi will be that effective because he will not get the ball to spin that much. But again, his main weapon is the googly that he bowls. I think 70, 60%, 70% of his balls are the googly one. He rarely bowls those orthodox leg spin. So I think the bowlers who sort of get the ball angling in, coming in with an angle to the batsman, I think those bowlers will be more effective in Eden Gardens, because especially because you'll see a very less turn, and the ball will sort of skid on to the bat.
absolutely. Having said that, guys, it was a wonderful time to talk about this game and also about the prospective chances of the playoffs as well. So thank you all for joining. It was great to take your questions as well. And do remember to play the fantasy contest with Boomer 11, because we absolutely offer you free to play app where you can play for free and win prizes worth up to $5,000 playing this IPL. So do not miss out on that chance. Just get on the app right now, download it, because tomorrow's game also will help you win a lot of prizes, though it's a dead
Yeah.
rubber, but nonetheless you can win prizes. Why do you want to miss out on that opportunity, right? So get on the app right now, download and play it and ace it. Absolutely have a lemonade kind of a day. And secondly, offers, just subscribe to the channel now so that you get notified whenever we go live, because we'll be going live after every game, and we'll also be doing previews on Twitter. So follow us on Twitter as well, and click the notification so that you also get notifications there whenever we do a Twitter space where we'll be having Sandipani and Jones to talk about the game. Every day we'll be doing that before every match takes place in IPL. And also follow us on Instagram. That's where we provide with some interesting memes, top 5 fantasy picks, everything what you gotta love. So enjoy the IPL and rest of the matches with Boom 11, because there's some exciting things waiting for you as well. Some exciting giveaways. So don't miss out on any of these things. Having said that, take care, stay safe. And tomorrow is not a super Sunday, I feel, but nonetheless, we'll be here talking about that game, analyzing both the teams. Have a good time.